Let's go through the 2901 longest unequal adjacent groups subsequence 2. For this question, it gives us two arrays. One array is a string array words, another array is integer array groups. They have the same length. And let's find the longest unequal adjacent group subsequence. And so for unequal adjacent group subsequence, it need to satisfy um, three conditions. The first is condition. Here you see the word's length equals the group's length. The word um, in these subsequences, for example, I and I plus one, they belong to different group. This is the first condition. Another is word I and I plus one, they have the same length. The third one is the Hamilton distance between them is one. That means they just have one character is different. And it is return a list of string of subsequence, just return anyone. If there are multiple answers, return any of them. So what we're thinking about for this question is that we have DP, which um, which is the represent the at index I, what's the longest is unequal adjacent group subsequences. And for this kind of length, DPI equals the longest length end at index I. So for DPI, how can it comes from previous DP calculated DP is that we look at for example from J from 0 to I minus 1, and we trying to see if word J and word I they satisfies these three conditions. If they satisfy these three conditions, then DPI could be dpj plus 1, right? And dpj plus 1 could update DPI. So what we are right, if dpj plus 1 is greater than DPI, then we are going to have DPI equals dpj plus 1. And also, we need here we need to get the string, right? So there is technique for us is that we use an integer array called parents. So only when DPI is updated, we set DPI i's parents to be j. In this case, we are going to we are able to for every DPI we are able to retrieve back to get the original to get at least a string, right? And we also need last index, which means or longest index, which means we because we need to have the longest length, right? So if we have the DPI greater than longest, we update the longest, and also we are going to set I be last index because we need to use this index to retrieve back. So let's write code for this. Int I equals words dot length. And we're going to have two array. One is called DP, it's new int, and we're going to have parent equals new int, and so we're going to have arrays fill DP1, right? Because the length should at least be one. Arrays fill parent minus one. Okay, so we're going to have int longest should be at least one, right? So last index, we're going to, or longest end index, we can set as 0. And because that must have one values, right? So what we do is that for, you can iterate I from 1, I smaller than and I plus, then for int j equals I minus 1, j greater equal to 0, j minus, right? And so what we write, if is good, we need to pass in words, groups, I, J. Then what we are going to do is that if DP I. Mm, if it is good, and we can have an and condition, right? And dpi um, plus 1 is greater than dpj plus 1 is greater than dpj, right? dpi. If it is good and the length is increased, then what we are going to have is dpi equals dpj plus 1, and we're going to have parent I equals j. And here we'll say if dpi is greater than longest, then we're going to have longest equals dpi, and then we're going to have last index equals I, right? So this will, then we need to retrieve back. So we're going to have list of string result equals new array list. And let's say why are this kind of last index is not equal to -1? We can have last index equals parent last index, right? And we're going to have result at words last index. And this is in a reverse order. We should reverse it. So collections reverse results, and we need to return results, right? And we can write a help function called is good. Private boolean is good. In array word, right? Words and int array groups and int g, right? So the first thing is that if groups I equals groups j, or its length doesn't equal, right? Words I dot length doesn't equal to words j dot length, we should return false. So let's convert this one to array. Array 1 equals words I to char array, and array 2 equals words j to char array, and we're going to have int n equals array 1 dot length or words dot length, right? So we're going to have a Hamilton distance equals to 0. What we do is that for int k equals to 0, k is smaller than n, k plus plus. So I have d should pass equal to array 1k. If it's equals, right, array 2k. If equals, then that is 0, otherwise it's 1, right? So I say if d is greater than 1, we need to return false. Otherwise, in the end, just return true, right? So this will be the Java code. Well, say for this code, there are two for loops. This is O n square, right? And for each for loop, we need to check groups and the word length, and also we need to check the character by character. So it will be, if the word length is L, so it will be n squared multiplied by L time complexity. And the space is dpn, right? So it's linear. So on. And we can also write Python code for this. So we need, for example, n equals length words. So I'm going to have dp parent and longest last index equals, this one equals n1 minus n, and minus 1 multiplied n, and the longest is 1, and the last index is 0. So we'll say for I in range from 1 to n, for j in range I. Okay. Then we are going to let's say we can have def is good. Okay, so I j, right? Um this one, for example, this is int, j is int, j is int, and it returns the true. So if groups I equals groups j, or length words I down equal to length words j, and return false. And we'll write d equals 0. We can use a zip function, right? For a, b in zip words I and words j. So I say if a down equal to b, then we'll have this d should plus equal to 1, right? So if d is greater than 1, return false. And we're jumping out of this for loop, right? After we jumping out of this for loop, we return true. So this will be is good, right? So is good functions here. So what we do is that so for this j, right? So if is good I j, you can have and, right? And dp j plus 1 is greater than dp I. In this case, we're going to have dp I equals dp j plus 1. And also we need to have parent I equals j. And let's say if dp I is greater than longest, then we'll have longest equals dp I. And we have last index equals I. So we are going to have a result compose result equals this one, and where while this LID doesn't equal to -1. In this case, we're going to have result append words LID, and we'll have LID equals parent LID, right? And we'll reverse result, reverse, and then return result.